Live back for episode 2. You know, my main thing is, what's great with you today, man? Look at him smirking. Where your energy at? I had to bring back Professor Q again for around episode 2 because once we got through with that first episode and all of that nervousness left him, he came with some banging question. He sent them to me. So we're going to get into those in a second. Y'all work with me on my own. Rubenham is live. Okay, that's perfectly showing now. So right now I'm getting ready to brother, talk to him for us. Let me get this technology up and running. To being your own technician is
Well,
something
right
serious.
now we just getting things situated, so we here. Hope everybody tuning in, and we just gonna get in the conversation. And y'all feel free to join in, make comments, say whatever y'all want to say. So take off. We here. We live.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we got 2 people here. And you can check us out if somebody is not on your page, you can check us out also on YouTube at Namaste Thug Wellness. Um, Huh. We got so much good feedback, brother, from last week. So many people was saying that, well, speaking about suicide, melanated men, how we don't have a platform to speak about our mental health and our wellness, and for us to bring it to the forefront and let other people see. They know I'm this so-called weird way, but for you to expose your genius part of it. Um, and we're gonna get into it. The first thing is just a knockout. Is asking you what the difference between spirituality and religion. That was one of the
Mm,
several questions that you hit me up
yeah.
with. What the difference between spirituality and religion? And since the question was yours, what do you feel like it is, my brother?
Well, first and foremost, I think we can all start religion because I think that's where most of us began
Facts.
being religious. And to me, being being religious is kind of putting you in a box.
Mm-hmm.
It restricts you. It confines you to one certain thing, one belief system, and there's no way you can kind of go outside of that box. When you do, you're wrong.
Hmm.
So I always had kind of like a problem with that because it was questions that I would want to ask and felt like I couldn't ask, or like I said, I felt so confined and restricted, and I
Mm-hmm.
just knew it was so much more to it than that, And I'm not saying that any religion, I'm just gonna put it out there, is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There's no right or wrong, but for me, I needed to kind of get above and beyond that, and I think that's what spirituality kind of does for me. It allows me to be more free and open with who I am and my inner being and trying to get to my higher self.
Mm-hmm. So religion, you feel like is a box because it's limited, and,
Yes, it's
and you feel
definitely limited.
and you feel like spirituality is actually out the box. It's kind of more like a hmm. It's more freeing and it had less restraint because now it's no neither one is well in religion it's the wrong way, but in spirituality it's more like your way.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? That makes plenty of
But
sense.
I mean, I also think like with religion, there's more judgment.
Of course,
And
but it's judging in both of them though. It's judging in spirituality too
mm,
because people judging how spiritual you are. But my main take on religion is religion make you focus on something outside of yourself.
mm,
It makes you feel like
right,
if I
right.
see God, I can't live, and it separates you from God on the inside. Spirituality, going back to the Gnostic Christian, which are the original Christians, they felt like knowing thyself is knowing God. And in spirituality, we look inwardly, we don't look outwardly.
Right.
And then with spirituality, we're looking for, and we know that we can see God and still live because we know that we actually are God. And like I said, we are made in His image. He's made in the spirit. A lot of times we feel like we humans having a spiritual experience. We actually spirits having a human experience. So
Exactly.
we got to
Okay.
feed that. And with spirituality, it feeds our spirit a whole lot more. Religion took the spiritual aspect out of it, and it just feeds the fleshly part of us, and it's based on fear this and fear this and fear that.
All right.
That's not really healthy or helpful for us to have that. So what's your take on that? Put this time on.
Well, I mean, I really like what you said as far as us looking inward,
Mm-hmm.
because one, I think when you look inward and you start with self, the first thing comes to mind is accountability. You're
Mm-hmm.
taking ownership of your situation, of your
Yeah.
feelings, of your whole inner being, your whole essence.
And ownership. And is that ownership based on what the Bible telling you, or where do you get that ownership from? What's your rule for ownership in spirituality? Because the
Mm.
Bible is almost dictating to you what you should or shouldn't be doing, and that's very judgmental. But in spirituality, what are you using to gauge yourself to be self-disciplined?
It's funny that I kind of believe, like, how can I say this?
Truthfully,
Yeah. Um,
no sugar, no cut.
I think we're drawn to where we're supposed to be from the Creator,
Of course, of course, of
and I think
course.
we're kind of guided in a sense.
You think we got it?
Well, I know that I'm guided
Okay, we'll say it like that,
because, and
brother.
that, it's funny that you said that too, because I know when I was younger, I
Mm-hmm.
started off as Jehovah's Witness, then I went to Christianity,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of dibbled and dabbled Hebrew
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Israelites,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's like I never really. It was too many questions,
Right.
and so when I learned to be kind of like release the religion part
Mm-hmm.
and be more spiritual minded,
Mm-hmm.
I just felt free. Free to understand that. You know, even all right. Just put it this way:
Nice and simple.
Christianity and Islam.
No, no, I mean to cut you off. No, we're not knocking no type of religion. We're saying what's best for us in this situation. So whatever religion you have and is helping you feel the way you feel, that's what's up. We're saying for myself, Namaste Thug, and Professor Q, this is how he feels based on his religion. So I don't want you religion people saying we don't believe in God. We definitely do. It is not the way it was given to us by a colonizer or a slave master. That's what we're saying. Continue, brother.
It's like I was saying with Christianity and Islam. I always had a problem with where's the conflict. You know, also, if you're not a Christian, you're going to hell. If you believe in Christianity, you're going to hell. It's almost like it's a back and forth, this tug of war, and where where's the God in that?
Because see that it's a business. So with that why you come out of religion and get in spirituality. Because religion is a good undergrad. Now I'm working on my master. So I went through
Mm,
religion.
I like how you
You feel
put
what
that.
I'm saying? So I'm not gonna put my energy in this and that because basically all I'm saying is the same thing at the core of it. So now you graduate religion and you grow into spirituality. So now it's more of a trying to find your tribe, understanding who you are as a spiritual being. You want to actually empower yourself and unlearn everything that was taught to you based on fear. 'Cause religion got some pretty good key points in there. But as a totality, it wasn't sufficient enough for me because I was raised Jehovah's Witness too.
Mm,
So I understand the Jehovah's Witnesses. I love how they break down study. I love the one-on-one situation where we actually have a chance to speak on the magazines that we read. I like it,
right,
but at
right.
the same time too, it's like if I'm drowning in the ocean, it won't keep me above water. So now I got to find some other type of life raft that's gonna be able to keep me afloat when them tides get rough in that
Got you,
ocean.
got you.
So that's why me myself I came out your witness and became more spiritual and became actually looking in and start owning my shit. And shit stands for my spirit. H stands for my heritage, and I stand for my intention, and T stands for my time. So I take care of my shit. So when I'm taking care of my shit, I'm able to, once again, if I'm focused on me, I ain't got time to focus on nothing outside myself.
Absolutely.
So if everybody took time, and if we use the same energy that we did on somebody else's job to work on ourselves, you know how much more farther we would be. If we took that
Yeah.
same energy,
Yeah.
and we act like we a red nosed pit bull and shake and be very, when we lock on persistency, like look, I ain't letting it loose. I
Yeah.
ain't letting
Yeah.
it loose. But when we go on other people's job and we'll bust our ass, we'll do extra overtime, and then drop our hat, they'll fire us or say they'll no longer let our services. But we get that same commitment, that same discipline to learn ourselves. Now my father will be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, I really can't imagine it because
You can't imagine what part.
if we actually took that energy that we put on our
Why you say
job,
you can't imagine it?
because me personally, I've never looked at it in that light, and that's why I kind of like this forum because it's opening all of us up to see things from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Facts.
only thing I can ask is that we be open minded and just sit down and think about certain
Mm-hmm.
situations for a minute. But that's what it does. I mean, because we we go on a job religiously every
It's a
day,
religion.
and I mean, we just go through it in
Mm-hmm.
and out, same
Mm-hmm.
routine,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
whatever. I mean, I don't know everybody's job, but basically, nobody really want to go to work, but we do it.
Right.
And again, it's one of those learned behaviors that's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do it. I worked last night, but
How much trauma does that cause in you going? How much trauma does that cause going somewhere you truly don't want to be?
mm, well, I've learned to be a different kind of species on that one because as far as jobs, I've always felt like this. I'm always gonna have one. And I came looking for when I came to the job, I was looking, and when I leave, I'm looking. I'm not gonna get fired, but I will look for the exit sign.
Mm-hmm. But how does it
So
traumatize you though? Going somewhere you truly don't want to go. Because if you had $1 million right now, you won't be going to where you're going.
ain't no way in hell I'm going to work.
Right. So it's some type of trauma that we're feeling. It might not be a heavy trauma, but it's a resistance. How about that?
Yeah.
Whenever we're going somewhere we don't want to go, it's a forms of like a little kid kicking and screaming, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Our little kid kicking the same way too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of time we have start feeling sick when close time go to work. Something wrong with me. Something ailing because our
Oh yeah. It's
natural
that time.
right.
And it's almost like eating castor oil. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
might be good for you,
Mm-hmm.
but you really don't want to do it.
Right, right, right. a thousand
So,
percent.
it's just I think well, you made a good point there. It's just that's one of the situations where I say I'm always like open to things like that because I never think about that. Because
Mm-hmm.
we get so in tuned into getting into the everyday routine of getting up, going to work. And me personally, I work overnight. So now, you know, I'm kind of off
Why is
most of the
that?
time because, you know, now it's almost like like I'm nocturnal. I'm up at night when everybody else sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the daytime I'm supposed to be asleep, but it's daytime so I'm up.
Mm-hmm.
So now I go through this whole sleep deprivation thing. I keep going and
Mm.
going and I miss out on a lot of rest.
Mm-hmm.
And just like matter of fact, yesterday I crashed.
Mm-hmm.
I literally got out of work and I fell asleep in my car
Wow.
until about 1 o'clock.
That's the body telling you, hey man, we and that's a form of trauma. Cause when I
Yeah.
when I supposed to be sleep, I'm up. When I supposed to be up, I'm sleep. So I definitely understand that. And this kind of goes into the second question you asked me. Um, how to connect with our higher self. First, you put 101. That's the introduction. How do we connect with our higher self? How do you connect with your higher self? Seeing how you're going through sleep deprivation, we got resistance from a job, um, we got trauma from death from a loved one. We're gonna touch on that too.
Mm.
So how do you stay connected? We're gonna keep it 101, super basic. How do you stay connected with your higher self? How does Professor Q stay connected with his higher self?
Me personally, I find a place of seclusion. I get by myself
Mm-hmm.
no matter where it is. I mean, if I got to go to the park and sit at the park bench, if I got to go in my bedroom, if I got to lay on the sofa,
Mm-hmm.
And first, I just get into myself.
Mm-hmm.
I start meditating, and then I honestly just I think about my life. I think about the Creator. I think about creation,
Mm-hmm.
and I just like to get to that moment of peace where everything kind of just I block everything out.
Mm. So, what tool do you use to help block everything out? How do you do that?
Well, you did a good job of teaching me first and foremost breathing,
Mm. What
breathing,
type of breathing?
breathing in your nose and
Mm-hmm.
out your nose, and
Mm-hmm.
number two mainly is meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And once you kind of, I don't, you can master it. I don't think I've mastered the art of meditation, but I'm getting there.
That's what's up.
And it's one, it makes you focus
Mm-hmm.
on you. It
Mm-hmm.
makes you see more of what's going on from an outward standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at your situation. You're looking at your thoughts.
From an outward or from inward?
It's kind of weird. I would say inward but outward.
Makes sense. I get you. So when you meditate, you're going in and help you see stuff without. So I
Right.
definitely understand what you're saying. Continue your wisdom, brother.
But yeah, once you get into yourself and that peace comes over you and
Mm-hmm.
you're able to block everything out, that's when you can start seeing things more clearly.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
can start recognizing the things that's going on, or you can start seeing what you need to be doing. You kind of that inner voice,
Mm-hmm.
and you hear it speaking to you.
Okay, okay. With
And
that be
everybody could be different. It's kind of that
no,
way
we didn't
for
want
me.
to just speak about you.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So with that being said, I done sat, I've meditated, I wrote on my nostril to nostril breathing, and I get in my car and somebody cut me off and called me, oh pussy motherfucker. Now how do I maintain myself when I'm dealing with life on life terms? How do you deal with that?
Well, sometime I get back into the physical, and I co-sign with everybody else what they going on. They
Mm-hmm.
want to cuss and fuss, I'm gonna cuss and fuss back.
Gotcha.
But then sometimes I go to think,
Mm-hmm.
and once I realize that I need to get back into the present.
Mm-hmm.
Understand that's when we
Mm-hmm.
go back to breathe. Breathing is so important because when you do it, if you just practice, you'll
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying. But
Mm-hmm.
if you go through one of those situations and you just and just that by itself, if you try it right now, just breathe.
Perfect. That's a good segue. Let's have 1 minute of group meditation where we're gonna work on breathing in our nose and out our
Mm.
nose. We want to sit up nice and straight because the spine is an information highway. So for 1 minute, we're gonna start in like 25 seconds. I got a clock over here for like 1 minute. We're gonna breathe together. And when we breathe together, we become one. Because like in that book, say the small biblios, meaning the small book, meaning the most high, breathe the life of breath through our nose, not through our mouth, through our nose. So when we're breathing in and out our nose, we're having communion with God.
Mm.
All right? We got 5 seconds, we're gonna start. Begin. Just work on your breathing. Whatever thoughts come up, allow them to pass through you the same way the clouds pass through the sky. Don't ever feel so drifting off, just kind of smile and focus on that breathing. And it become too difficult to stay focused. I count backwards. Three, two, one, zero. A brief hold. And I exhale. Three, two, one, zero. But you keep yourself present. And every time you exhale, feel some part of your body just relax and just be. Hmm. All right. When you get ready, you can just kind of come back to your body. No rush. But just show you like how meditation is. It's like you plugging in, like your cell phone running low, talking about low battery. You plug it into the wall, which is electricity. We are energy, energy in motion, our emotions. But sometimes when you come out of our emotions and have a segmented intention, where in the middle of the day, I just kind of stop and refocus on, put my awareness on what I truly want to be doing.
Mm.
Segmented meditation. Because we can meditate in the morning, right?
Yeah.
But then something can happen where I might lose my cell phone or whatever it may be. My focus might be a little off alignment. So now when I pause and start back breathing, that's called emotional empowerment. That's why I text that to you today. Emotional empowerment. When we take time to kind of pause and we close our eye because we don't want no type of outside stimuli, no type of um outside molestation, outside influences. Because molestation just means I was introduced to something way before I was early. So outside molestation, outside influence, that's why we close our eyes. Now we're just acting on the inside. Now once we're on the inside, we can actually see the outside different better because now we're creating our future. Because
Mm-hmm.
we're leaving the past, now we're actually creating our future. And that's powerful. That gives you me attitude of gratitude, you know. Um and for me, what keeps me connected? Did you want to say something before I
No, no,
answer?
go ahead. Yeah.
So what helps me can stay connected to my higher self is I got this from Reiki. It's an attitude of gratitude. Just for the day, I will have an attitude of gratitude. Just for the day, I will not worry. Just for the day, I will not anger. Just for the day, I will do all of my work honestly. Just for the day, I will show love and respect to all living things. And all I have is just for the day, or sometimes just for the moment. So we focus on an attitude of gratitude, like a low vibration, and high vibration can't hold the same space. Something going to have to give. So if I'm focused on
Yeah.
unconditional love,
Yeah.
I'm focused
Yeah.
on blessedness, I'm focused on being grateful for what I have. Lack, low self esteem, and fear. It can't like hold on, man. Like I'm in the bathroom already.
Yeah.
It's one
Some got to
bathroom,
go.
no doubt. And someone has to stay. So as we're doing that, we're priming ourselves, and once again, it's an emotional empowerment. Is now we can enhance our performance because when we get in front of uh, a particular coworker or we working somewhere where we working, especially with entrepreneur,
Mm.
our world is our business. So I can't never be in my mind off point. I always want to stay like a fine roll joint. You feel what I'm saying? Ain't no hole every time you pull that thing. Like, oh
Right.
wait, that's that. Oh, I ain't smoking over 70 days too, so this you feel me? But while y'all do smoking, put some in the air for me. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, that helped me stay connected to my higher self, and also me feeling my lower self. Meaning when I'm feeling low vibration, I'm feeling muddy.
Okay.
Just like our cars need an oil change,
Right.
we need an oil change too. We need a spiritual oil change.
So
So
how do
that
you do
work
that?
with the chakras, with the sound bowl healing, with Reiki. Reiki goes in almost like you got backed up pipeline on your toilet stool. It's full of toilet tissue, the old residue.
Mm.
Reiki comes in and frees your pipeline, which is our chakra. We got a root chakra right between our anus, our penis, and vagina. Our belly button where we came in this world is our sacral chakra, and look from our belly button above, right below our chest, is our solar plex chakra, which is yellow. Each one has a particular color.
Mm.
Our solar plex chakra deal with all our emotions that we haven't dealt with. It's the biggest chakra, and it's so important because right above our sacral chakra is our heart chakra. It's the middle of all the chakra and control the upper three and the lower three. It's the middle chakra.
Mm.
So green is the heart chakra. So we feeling lonely, we feeling low self-esteem, go outside in the grass and take your shoes off and find anything that's green that represents the heart chakra. Above the heart chakra, our throat chakra right in here, it's a blue color. So how are we talking about ourselves? How are we talking to ourselves? How are we talking to people about when we got stuff going on? Am I saying like I'm always this and I'm always that? Am I putting a spell on myself? Then the third chakra is indigo, which is our third eye chakra, located right between our eyebrows.
Mm.
Well, I apologize, it's purple. And then the one above is indigo or white, which is our crown chakra, which opens up to the universe. So our ancestors actually pours into us. So that's our pipeline. It starts from the bottom and it works its way up. So if one of those chakras are clogged, and most men, our sacral chakra is clogged because we're not flexibility. We don't know what flow is, and we're not dealing with our femininity because we are feminine and masculine combined to be one, like a negative and a positive. In math, we
Okay.
got subtraction and addition. So each form of science has that type of um, not category, title to it, so you understand what we're dealing with. That makes sense to you?
So it's like a yin and a yang.
It has to be. What color? What color yin yang is? What color is it?
Black and white.
Right. So we always wanted to focus on the white side, which is enlightenment. But what about the dark side, which is the shadow side? We need both of those, because without darkness, we will know what light was. Without light, we will know what darkness is. So our shadow side just means when I'm by myself, along with myself, how I feel, how I think, how I move, the stuff we want to influence me to do. That's the shadow side. Now the shadow side is cool as hell, don't get it twisted, but it don't have the right authority to lead us. So we got to put a light awareness on our shadow side and bring it to the forefront and make it part of our everyday life, and that become our yin and our yang.
Okay.
You follow me? The male and female would represent yin and yang. One is male, one is female.
Okay.
Make sense?
Total.
Okay. Total. Anything you want to say about that before we go to the next topic?
Well, I guess what I wanted to say on that is that we need to recognize that, again, there's no judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Without light, there is no darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Or we wouldn't know darkness.
Right.
Without darkness, we wouldn't know what light is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like a positive and a negative. They work together, hand in hand.
Oppositions.
And it's not necessarily like such a bad thing. We're gonna get in funks. We're gonna have situations where we're not feeling the best of moods or whatever.
Right.
But we need to take that in stride and be able to sit back and observe what's going on with us and understand what's going on. And once we do that, you know, we become more in tune of who we are and what we're doing and what we're supposed to be doing. And I think that just kind of it catapults us into another level where we're supposed to be at. And again, it's constantly being aware. I like that word, being aware. Being aware.
Being. So being it. Stop doing it. So be. Wow.
Yeah.
Being aware. So be the awareness you want to be. You don't want to do it. How do you do awareness? That's that Nike shit, bro.
Okay.
We got to be awareness, you know, because Nike is such a huge name, and they taught us just to do something. So psychologically, we think we got to be doing something. But when we start being something, we surpass the doing. So, like, doing is religion, and being is spirituality.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You got to do something to do religion, but you got to be something to be spiritual. You got to be aware.
Yeah, you have to.
Oh man. This was you finna say something?
No, go ahead.
This was a good one right here. How does melanated America look at mental health and getting counseling or therapy about it?
Whoa. Well, I know for a fact that us.
Who's us? Gotcha.
We don't. For the most part, we don't. Yeah, we don't accept that. I can remember. What was I? I was in the 6th grade. In between the first and the second time in the 6th grade, I stayed back.
We all stayed back somewhere, brother.
I was at a stage. I think I was acting the fool. I don't really remember it, but I was. Yeah, that was one of those times when I brought home all F.
All F.
Yeah,
wow.
My mama, she beat the hell out of me.
I could imagine the hell out you.
I guess them people thought something was wrong with me because I wasn't doing that. I would just act up in class, whatever this, that, and that. So anyway, to make a long story short, they scheduled me to go see a psychiatrist, and I remember because those who live in Fort Lauderdale, it was over in the Romart building off Broward Boulevard back in the day. But like I said, I had to be 11. But that's the first time, and I went there, and they were showing me ink blots, and what does this look like, and I don't know, butterfly, whatever. But anyway,
that's what they were doing with me.
Oh, you went through that too?
What color do I see in the dots?
I don't get that.
Okay, I'm with you. Go ahead.
Wow. I'm gonna research that, but I remember going home, and listening to, cause my mom was there. I'm a minor or whatever, but I remember having a conversation with mom or whatever. She's like, They want to put my child on medication. They ain't, my child ain't taking none of that shit, and they think he finna go see some psychiatrist, this, that, and other. My baby ain't crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't go back there no more.
Mm.
And it's just funny because then years later, I done had this weird ass episode and ended up going to the VA, and that's when they diagnosed me with bipolar disorder. And
Mm. So you labeled bipolar by the VA?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you got a
So
label now.
I
We understand now what was going on from you way back then. And so you have been able to maintain it all this time, brother. I salute
yeah.
that.
I mean, it's crazy because people
Mm-hmm.
like when I told people about it, it was, well, we always knew you was crazy, and I ain't really care what they said because I was
Mm-hmm.
like, hell, at least I kind of got something that I can read up on and
Of
I can
course.
see. And when I started reading about it, I was, whoa, okay, yeah, that is what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it was more educational for me, and then it was also kind of being a little free because
Mm-hmm.
I always knew like, damn, I'm different, man. Something ain't right,
Mm-hmm.
and why I ain't like this? I get so mad all the time, and I was just, I had these crazy mood swings, and always, how we said, wear my emotions on my sleeve, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just, I was all over the place. But to actually get that label,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is what's wrong with you. It
Mm-hmm.
was a sigh of relief for me
I can relate to that.
because now it's like, okay, I can actually see, understand, acknowledge, study me, myself, my behavior, what's going on with me. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think most people understand how important that is, or how liberating it is to
Mm-hmm.
feel like you finally got the answer,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And from that point, I really started recognizing, okay, that mental illness, it's a serious thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do think that I think they're exploiting it right now to a certain extent, but
But see, I agree but disagree. It's coming out more in the open. You got more people that's on a professional level that's speaking about mental health, make them look into it. You
yeah.
feel what I'm saying? So yes and no, but we gotta understand before in our house, mental health, that's something we didn't talk about. Like
Oh
her
no,
your mom responding
no.
to it. When I got diagnosed with bipolar, my mom like, ain't nothing wrong with you, boy.
Mm,
So
yeah,
cause I'm gonna tell you why. I found out later on she thought that she did something wrong. So now by us being diagnosed with something being wrong with us, they taking response. They've been judged within themselves.
right,
Something
right.
wrong with me. So she didn't want to go along with it. She didn't want to accept how I was feeling. 'Cause I went through the same thing. You're talking about naming different things. I went to different on the weekend. I used to go to this place right off, matter of fact, by the old brick house. It'd be like a chapter one over there where they
Yeah,
help you
yeah.
understand reading. And so a lot of people I seen was in that same building. I
Mm,
was in chapter one in school in fifth grade. It wasn't called ESE, it was called chapter one. You feel what I'm saying?
yeah,
Went to a portable, but the good thing about it, we get goddamn Rice Krispie trees or so
all that.
game.
Yeah,
So we come back cool. I went on that one hallway at Lydell Manor where we never came out the room. I wasn't there. But I was close to it though, you feel me? And this was like second grade.
yeah.
But of course, in the melanated community, we don't seek out therapy. We think it's something going on with the mother or father might think they did something wrong. So now we're doing a disservice to our kids.
Right, right.
So when I finally went back myself, when I had an episode that I attacked my own windshield in my car and busted and hit it to a bus, and I chased a dude on the beach, and when the light turned green on Federal, bro, go 595 beat the dog shit out of until the light turned green. They could stuck his middle finger. Hey, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah.
So now when I went home that night from beating on him, I just came to the crib when I was standing a lot of manners. I just dropped to my knees, man, and start crying. Like it's something that took control of me that I couldn't control, and it scared me because I see myself beating this dude,
Ooh.
but I couldn't stop beating this dude. But I was acting like I'm in the passenger seat, like my body had got hijacked by some spirits, and they doing a drive by and using me as an alibi. So I'm beating this dude. I get home like, what the fuck was that? I had no control. I was under the influence of drinking. That was another reason why I slowed down drinking. I was so easily acceptable to different spirits. So
Mm.
basically, like Grand Theft Auto, like in Grand Theft Auto, it's still in cars, but these spirit niggas, they snatching bodies. So that night, nigga, my body got snatched.
No,
You
I
feel what I'm
totally hear
saying?
what you're saying, because even the day that I went to the VA was I got to a point where I literally I was gonna kill somebody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I knew I was gonna kill this person.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt in my mind. I
Mm-hmm.
never felt that much anger and that much rage in my life.
That's the
And it
rage.
was premeditated. It was like, I'm done with this.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to a point where I was sitting in my car, and I mean, I'm just crying
Mm-hmm.
because I know I'm finna kill this person.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna get into the
Yeah, please
specifics and all
don't.
that,
Leave it
but
at that.
it was like I just knew I was gonna end this person's life
Mm-hmm.
because I was that fed up.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, I was going through this bipolar episode. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I
Mm-hmm.
was having I was at a low, one of the lowest points of my life.
Wow.
And it was crazy because
Mm.
I don't know if I called my ex-wife or my ex-wife called me, and I went talking to her, and then she was like, let me hit you right back. She called her father, and he called me back, and she was like, Quincy, you're a veteran, this, that, and other. You need to go down to the VA. And I ended up going down there.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went down there, it was they asked me all of these questions,
Mm-hmm.
and it was weird because he was like, "We want you to stay."
Mm.
So I'm like, "Well, I don't really want to stay. Though. I'm good." And I turned around. It was two big, huge Hispanic Metro Dade police officers standing behind me.
Mm-hmm.
We really want you to stay. I'm looking at them like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna stay then. I'm going with the flow.
Yeah.
But basically, yeah, they big eyed me, and
Mm-hmm.
I stayed there for 3 days, and yeah, well, one thing I can't say, the VA took care of me, but
Mm-hmm.
you talk to your psychiatrist or whatever, and got the quiet room, and it's gonna sound weird to some people, but yeah, I mean, you had a quiet room, and you go in there, and you just sit, put your headphones on, you watch TV, and we in pajamas and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and it actually gave me a chance to really just sit down and relax and just forget about everything I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't thinking about killing that person no more.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
just kind of
Mm-hmm.
just sat there and went through it. I went with the flow. Got out of that to make I'm making a long story longer, but I got out of that, and then they transferred me over to Henderson Clinic, started seeing a psychiatrist, and that worked for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I went through that episode, man, ain't nothing wrong, man. I ain't finna
Mm-hmm.
keep going down here to
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
place and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped going for a while. And then a couple years later, I really came, and that couple years later was, I think it was, might have been last year. Look,
Mm-hmm.
no, it was maybe about 2 years ago.
Gotcha. 2020.
That's when I took it upon myself to, I said, man, I don't go down to Henderson, man, because I wanna start seeing a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I felt the need to want to sit down and talk. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to get all this bullshit that was in me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to let that shit out.
Mm-hmm.
Because why keep all that shit balled up in you? What's the point of that? Because it's doing you no good.
At all.
So now I got back in, and I mean every week, whatever she was sitting down, what day is good for you next week, and
Mm-hmm.
for an hour I would sit there. Sometimes she would call, and I'd be driving in my car going home from work, but I'm having a therapy session,
Mm-hmm. Of course.
and again, it's one of those situations where it's so liberating, where you can just get all your shit out, because as black men, who do we go to tell people about our problem? And who the hell really want to know that shit? Don't nobody care. Nobody gives a damn. So why don't I go to somebody that's pretty much neutral, and
Mm-hmm.
they getting paid to do this shit?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
they don't know me from Adam. I don't know them. So guess what? I can tell them whatever the hell I want, and I'm with no judgment, And all I'm doing is just getting all that bullshit out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just taking all that bad garbage or whatever, or however I'm feeling, and I'm letting it go. And you have no idea how much better you feel when you're able to express yourself to someone without being judged.
Mm.
And man, that did it. And then on top of that, she knows what to do, or he knows,
Mm-hmm.
whoever the person may be. But they're trained to do this stuff, and they train to make you think about certain
Right.
situations and go through certain exercises, and yeah, it helps you.
Got you. Got you. No, I totally agree with that. I remember the chick I was dealing with. She so-called got mental health issues and told me I got mental health issues too. I can I can remember going to the therapist right on University in Coral Spring right before sample in that all black glass building.
Mm,
I think the second floor. So I'm talking to a therapist. I'm telling everybody, no, I've been exposed to sex at a young age and how I'm going in the woods at this, that, and the other. She talking about, oh, I get it. I'm like, so you just fucked up. I'm like, I'm like,
whoa,
that's your prognosis.
yeah,
But I say, dog, thank you. I say, cause this shit was normal. I say it'll be an issue, man. At least I know what I'm going through. So now when I see somebody else, of course, and they labeled me bipolar with aggressive tendency, but really I got a post-concussion syndrome. I had over 13 concussions.
mm,
So my first one at like 4 years old. So post concussion syndrome and bipolar run side to side. So now we think about every melanated man or woman who's had some type of head trauma, whether you chill eating and they throw you up and down, you hit the ground, or you're wrestling with your homegirls at chill eating camp and you get hit in the head and your
mm.
head ring. You know,
Oh yeah,
concussion, you're concussed.
all the time.
So concussion can deal is basically when you have a concussion, you have microhemorrhage on the brain because it's like an egg. Your brain here and this is your brain, this your skull. So you had a concussion, go bow, because it flow is right here. So you get hit,
Yeah,
it like the egg hit the yolk hitting the egg.
right.
So when that happens, we got small edges. I don't know why we got small edges inside our brain, but when it hit it, it called microhemorrhaging and it throws us off. That's why they say don't go to sleep and you have mental fogging because you got an accident inside your head.
Yeah,
But it don't look a certain way because you're not deformed or whatever it may be. But when you tell somebody, I know it, man, I'm going through something. You feel like you're being judged. You feel like you're being labeled. The main thing, you feel like you're being misunderstood. So
mm,
the main thing for me with this platform is speak your truth. The truth behind your smile is to give you a judge-free zone that you can I listen for understanding and not for judgment and commonality of it all. Because I've baked that myself before, so too, right off McNair and University, not too far from right there.
yeah,
You know, I was going through something. I'm facing this major drug charge, and then my mental really kicked in. So I went and sat in there for 3 days, man, and I just seen like one lady weeping all night long, just crying. We in group therapy,
yeah.
she crying, he laughing. I'm like,
It,
whoa, you know what I'm saying? So for them
it's some
3 days,
situations, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I've been back at it 4 times.
My doctor tried to bake at me the other day. She was like, I'm at my primal care. She's like, you want to go to? So I think you go to the doctor. Like, I think I don't need to go to the doctor. I say, lady, I say, ma'am, I got my son full time. He depends too much on me.
Yeah,
I say,
yeah,
that's my anchor that keep me here. You know what I'm saying? So I hate what you saying. So now I have started seeing a therapist again. She's right, Miss Gunner. And that's so beautiful. We have conversations, bro, and she's so real with it. And last week I talked about meditation. She was like, hold on, Ruben, who's gonna be paying who this week? I'm paying you, you paying me.
okay.
Yeah. So man, having a therapist that allows you to speak your truth and then she speaks back her truth. And cause most of them don't share, I ain't gonna say not share, but um most of them most of them can't relate to you. That's what it is.
Right, yeah,
She can
yeah.
relate to me. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? If you're looking for a good therapist, Miss Gunner, Gunnar, she ain't pay me for this right here. But we go have a conversation. It's like, you know everything about yourself. You're well studied on it. And so I see you helping other people, helping kids. I'm like, okay, I got you. So she's seeing something in me, and she's a Caucasian. She's from Turkish. I apologize. She's Turkish. I'm not going to assume she's Turkish. We just have such beautiful dialogue, and it just seems so personal. Like, oh, Ruben time's up. Like what already?
Yeah,
Like it's time
yeah,
to
yeah.
go. So get you a therapist that's going to be able to allow you to speak your truth and not just automatically gauge what you're saying and put it in the packet. Because some people push. She don't write prescriptions, but she writes a prescription for me to understand how to be myself. She's not being caught up in a degree that she has. She's like, look,
Right, right,
you're very
right.
intelligent. You know what I'm saying? So she said, you maybe need to work for yourself. Like you can't work around people. Cool, let's work for yourself. Like I do that. I say, but I need people that I can talk to that's gonna help me help myself. And I said, with you, you can keep me. I need to be aligned with what's going on because sometimes shit be funky. You feel what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
now the last question I'm gonna ask you is, how is it being a melanated man in 2022?
Oh boy.
5 minutes.
Okay. Well, right now I'll say this. A lot of times it ain't no fun.
Mm.
I think being a man of color,
What color?
black,
Black. Colored. You got to start.
color,
You got word melanated. All of
melanated,
them are slave words.
melanated.
Colored, black, all that kind of stuff, man. Man, a lot of times when we say black, is lacking all color. We look at it from a molecule standpoint. We look at it from a mental standpoint.
Mm.
When we look at ourselves high as a god, it's just a different feeling. So just giving you so you can come off that spell.
Okay. But okay, let's say this. Being a melanated man
Mm-hmm.
in America,
Mm.
I totally feel no one truly understands unless you're another melanated man. Um,
Facts.
it's 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 a joy.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy being melanated. I enjoy being this person that I am.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it has its curses.
Of course, everything got a heads and tail, brother.
Yeah, and I mean,
For rich or for poor,
it's
better or
something that we
worse.
learn how to deal with. I think because I truly, I mean, you got to go through it. You
How
got
did you learn how to deal with it? Let's get personal. How did you learn how to deal with being a melanated man in 2020?
I I had to learn how to accept what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I had to know that we are looked at differently. We are looked down upon in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
I had to understand that at times we have to recreate ourselves. At times we have to wear masks. At times we got to do things that we necessarily
You said
don't want to do.
recreate ourselves. What you mean by that? Sometimes we gotta recreate ourselves. That's something like transformation. Recreate. Sometimes we gotta recreate ourselves.
Sometimes in a good way, but and sometimes in a bad way. Um,
So just speak on how we create ourselves. Cause you hit three. If it had to be a knockout punch, how did Professor Q recreate himself?
Realizing what my situation was,
Mm-hmm.
understanding that I couldn't take everything personal,
Got you.
and then wanting more for myself as far as in a positive sense.
Mm-hmm. Got you.
One to be better than what I was looked upon as, and just wanting to find out who I am, who my people were, and because again, we're supposed to continuously stay in the present, but we have to go to the past to understand where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
And me as a melanated man, I just realized that it's a struggle, but it can be done. we need to continuously focus on what we're doing and realize who we are and how empowered we are, and just keep getting better.
Facts. With that question, the reason why I said knockout punch, because we're gonna keep this kind of short. Knockout punch meaning that I was able to transform myself by connecting with my higher self. You feel what I'm saying? Um, and then the second question I want to ask you about that, you said wearing a mask. Like when you say sometimes you gotta wear a mask, what mask do you wear sometimes? What mask do you wear? That's why I want to hit that first one quick. So it's so you said so many different deep things. Like what kind of mask do you wear? And why do you wear them?
Well, we wear these masks, and
What can you give me a name of the mask? Because when I mean by name, a personality is a mask.
Well, a title.
What type of title?
Father.
Okay.
Husband. Brother. Employee.
Friend.
Yeah.
Male.
What? Bingo. And we get caught up in that instead of just being a spiritual being. We wear these masks and we think, sometimes we put a little more attention, more care into these titles than we should. Because at the end of the day, it's really not that important, because that's all it is just a title.
Gotcha. A lot of times what we do, we put emotions in it. So if somebody put emotion in something, now you're gonna get defensive. You're gonna defend it because I'm gonna defend this mask. A mask have a certain effect that it have on you. The cause of the mask, the effect is I'm gonna defend this father role. I'm gonna defend this male role. I'm gonna defend this employee role. Motherfucker ain't gonna try me. Like you trying yourself by saying that. You feel what I'm saying? So we have to understand exactly what's going on from the inside out within ourselves. So now we understand that I want mask off. I got it tatted on my chest. Like it came in my mind for whatever reason. Like take the mask off and be vulnerable. When we're being vulnerable, there's no defenses. It's expensive to have a war. I got to stay on duty. I got to be up all night long, being alert for what? And 90% of the thing we put stress on, it happens 10% of the time. So 90% of the thing we stress about only happen 10% of the time. That's a hell of a bad ratio. If we gambling, that's a bad number. I'm always gonna take 90 over 10, but sometimes we grabbing the 10. So understanding that, and he said something else that was deep. How to maintain? You said your mask. What was that last thing you said about being a melanated man in 2022? You named 3 things that was so hard that you just slid over so fast. I understand it. That's why I was trying to get back to it. And then being a melanated man in 2022 with mental health, like that's a like how. So with me, it's concerning for me with my mental health and being out and about with other aggressive people. A lot of times, I be very mindful of the music I listen to. Be very mindful of me drinking alcohol, because one thing about mental health is like a tiger never sheds its stripe because it tattoos on his skin. Mental health ain't something you get rid of. It's something you learn to grow with. You feel me? So it's not a finish line. It's not a motherfucking cold. It ain't diabetes, bitch. It ain't high cholesterol. It ain't high blood pressure. Fuck that. It ain't none of that. That shit on the inside.
Yeah, day in and day out.
And it's a spirit. Cause now if I'm feeling depressed or suicidal, I've been hijacked by demons. If I'm thinking blissful and I'm thinking love, I've been hijacked by angels. That's angelic thinking. So we gotta look at ourselves from a spiritual being. Spiritually, being a melanated man in 2022 with mental health, it kind of helps us dive into that spirituality, because now we're dealing with the invisible before it comes visible. We're dealing with the body snatchers, the ones that they can't see. I'm dealing with the 90%, not the 10%. So how you feel about an angel and demon hijacking your body? And demons mean like fear, neglect, low self-esteem, anxiety, depression. Depressed. I'm depressing my thoughts about truly how I feel are making me depressed. I need to repress and release and retransform.
I
I need to
like that.
transform myself. Because when I'm depressed, I'm depressing truly how I feel. So now this what's going on. Now releasing this, talk about it in a platform. This is an ingredient. I have to be somewhere where people can understand me and not judge me.
Mm,
Because you judge me, you listen trying to resolve something.
yeah.
But if you listen to understand me, it's something different. So if I'm having an episode where I'm spazzing out mentally, if you come to me like a mad part trying to solve shit, man, get the fuck off my phone, man.
Yeah.
You think that shit ain't to turn this ain't no motherfucking light switch?
Yeah.
But somebody listen to understand, I'm able to feel my feeling with, because even though I'm breathing, but once you in the mud, that shit come out of nowhere. It's easy to talk about it, but I had an episode last week. I was just in this thing like, whoa, this how it feels, huh? I started doing push-ups, got my trampoline, hit my punching bag. So now I gotta create a dopamine. I gotta swap them chemicals, because now I got a spirit trying to hijack my body. I need to get my body back. Like, no, I need my
Mm-hmm.
body, cuz. You feel me? So exercising, fitness, breathing, having conversation is a way that melanated men in 2022 can live and be spiritual. Yeah, any closing comments? A minute, my brother.
I just enjoyed this session because,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, it continually gives us a platform to express ourselves when normally we couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I say, anytime you need to speak to somebody, find somebody that's without judgment, someone you can trust, that's honest with you. Open your mouth, say something, get it out, release it, and you'll feel so much better.
Indeed, we do. And hey, man, we forgot about our sponsor, Namaste Thug. Check out the phone number 9. You need somebody to talk to, and it's free. It's 954-300-1886. A free 30-minute consultation. Go on our website, namastethug.com. It's a self-eval on there that deal with uh, um, a physical symptom of imbalance. It could go on the survey. It deal with each chakra. Check that out for yourself. Give me a phone call and let's set something up. It don't cost you nothing. It's free. It ain't cost you. I ain't telling you the motherfucking thing. I'm giving you the energy for free for 30 minutes because I know how lonely it feels when you feel like killing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna say the last thing right here too. If you're thinking about killing yourself, there's nothing wrong with the thought. It's the following through other thought. So I teach my clients is fantasy aggression is in your mind, play that whole suicide out. See how the blood gonna be scattered everywhere. See how your body gonna be laid. But don't stop there. Think about how the people gonna be hurt and how they gonna feel now that you're not there no more. Think about the people at the funeral. Think about your family member. Think about your mother, your father, your kid, anybody that love you. Think about how they gonna feel. And for me, I never want to kill myself because suicide to me is a selfish way out, and it's not a way of transformation. You're trying to change something. Change mean right now. Transformation mean I add something new. Transformation. Any closing comments,
No,
Professor Q?
you said it all, brother.
Namaste Thug, true heart under God. And the reason why we got to piece together because we got to be one to get there. Namaste Thug, Professor Q, we out. The next episode. Remember, send us your comments. Let us know anything y'all want to talk about. We open for different questions and conversation. We got episode 3 coming next week. We got some beautiful questions, some beautiful responses, and once again, you beautiful people, namaste. The God in me, see the God and God is in you. Peace.